Today we're here to find out how the Stanton Sedona does as a pump track bike. Today we're at a VeloSolutions pump track to find out how this bike feels as a dirt jumper. I've never had this bike on a pump track. I actually sold my dirt jumper when this bike arrived because I thought, you know, this thing is so close to a dirt jumper. Super tucked rear end, get the seat all the way out of the way, not super duper slack. We're gonna find out today how it does on the pump track and if that was a good decision to have sold my dirt jumper or if I wish I still had it. Now, most dirt jumpers are 26-inch wheels, and that makes a huge difference for shorter riders like me. On a pump track, your body is moving a ton. There's a ton of bike body separation where your body does all the moving and the bike stays static. The bigger your wheel, the less room you have to move around. So there's a reason you don't see 29 dirt jumpers out there, though I have seen one or two just because they're weird. You also get less pump out of a bigger wheel. So the smaller wheels pump and generate more energy than the big wheels, which makes sense. The reason we put big wheels on a bike is to not feel the bump so much. While on a pump track, we intentionally put bumps in there to generate momentum, and the bigger the wheel, the less pump you get out of that. So my hypothesis is this will be 90% as good as a dedicated dirt jumper. The real question is if I got the saddle out of the way enough, if I can still pump without feeling like the wheel and the saddle's in the way. Let's go find out. Oh man, this brings back good old days, BMX racing as a kid. I wish we'd had pump tracks back then. Oh, wow. Wow. That seat and wheel are really out of the way. Whoa, this is amazing. I'm glad it's not slacker. Slack is actually not good on a pump track. You need it kind of steep for sharp handling. So the last time I was here, I was on the cute Itty Bitty, which is a 20-inch mini velo, awesome bike. And it's got great pump because it's got those little wheels. However, the seat didn't get out of the way like this did, which makes no sense because this is a 29er. But I have way more bike body separation here. A lot of people are wondering about this bike and they haven't seen any reviews, and I'm always reluctant to review my signature bike because people think it just looks like an ad. But if you've been watching for a while, you know that I value honest, direct reviews, unbiased feedback more than selling a couple frames and making a little bit of commission on them. Still, I never nominate my own bikes for Bike of the Year because that seems too biased, so I take them out of the running. But people want to know about this bike. This bike is so good at this. If it were any slacker, we'd be struggling. You actually don't want a slack bike on pump tracks. You want responsive handling, and you need a bike that will change directions quickly. We've got a 66-degree head angle on this. I'm running a 120 fork. That's what it was designed for. And a lot of people hear that and think, oh, it must be an XC bike. It's not an XC bike. Trust me that 120 on a hardtail is magic. Much more, and it starts riding like a stapler because the rear end's not moving. Everything's pivoting on that rear axle. So the longer your fork, the more the geometry is changing. Head angle, reach, stack throughout the ride, and you don't want that changing mid-ride. That's kind of the beauty of rigid bikes, is their geo stays the same no matter what. And by running a slightly shorter fork on this, we keep that geo more in line than if it were running a big 140 or 160 fork. If you want to over fork it, be my guest, but you're going to ruin part of the magic that makes this bike so special. This thing is so fun. I can't believe the bike body separation you can get on a 29er when the seat's completely out of the way. On the Cute, I was running into the tire even, and this has bigger tires. Oh, this is so good. You'd think I designed it to be a pump track bike with how good it rides here. Manual so well. I love this bike. I thought I'd be buzzing my butt on the 29er a lot more, and I'm not. I buzzed it once, but for the rest of the ride, I'm not noticing it. I do not regret selling my DJ at all because this covers as much of the base as I need it to. I'm not doing big 8-foot lips, getting 20 feet in the air, throwing tuck no-handers. That's not my style. I'm too old for that. So for me, dirt jumpers are more for goofing around on pump tracks like this, little skills parks, skate parks, things like that. And this does it perfectly for what I need. If I were like racing pump track, which I'm not ready to, but if I were, I'd swap this out for some slick, like the Maxxis DTH, the BMX Drop the Hammer slick tires. I'd feel the knobbies less, it'd be quicker, and it'd have even more grip in the corners. But for an all-rounder that can do everything, these are doing just fine. I'm wearing down my tires a little bit, but that's better than swapping out every single ride. I'm not a pump track master, I'm just a regular guy riding a bike. I think that's why so many people click with my reviews. It's just like them. Now, if you want a more enduro-y version of this bike, with a slacker head angle and more tire clearance, check out my Binary Maniac, my other signature bike. Because it's titanium, it's more expensive, and I built this out of steel to be more affordable to the masses, but it would not be this good on the pump track because it's slacker. Woo! I didn't set out to make this bike like amazing at everything. I didn't want it to compromise in a whole bunch of places. But I realized there's no disadvantage to getting the dropper all the way out of the way. This does not hurt you at all as a mountain bike, being able to put that all the way down. If it were higher and I could only get 150 mil drop, it does disadvantage you in places like this, because then you're hitting the seat as you're pumping through stuff. And same thing with the geometry. A nice tall stack gives it a nice upright feel. You're not hunched over. Maybe it'd be a little bit faster as a pump track bike. Like if I were gonna tweak this just for pump track, I'd steepen the head angle 1 to 2 degrees. I'd put a rigid fork on. Yeah, that's it. I actually really like it how it is. It's really balanced. And set up single speed like this is pretty awesome. It feels just like a dirt jumper. There's no clanging of the derailleur. There's no chain noise. It's just silent. And so I'm super glad that we can run this single speed too. I've actually got it set up for single speed trail riding right now. And I didn't change a thing to come here to the pump track other than add 5 more PSI to the tires. And it's seriously way better than I thought. I'm gonna give this like 98% as good to me as my 26-inch DJ, which is pretty incredible. And that's what I wanted. I wanted a DJ with a dropper with gears and modern geo and a fork. And on the trail, like I would easily bike pack 300 miles on this with no problem. There's no disadvantage to that. Sure, you have a slightly smaller front triangle, but actually when I'm bike packing, the front triangle is not where I keep most of my stuff. So I've actually got a full top tube bag, which I find even more useful than a massive triangle bag. But that's it. I mean, this thing is built with quad butted 4130 steel, better than Reynolds 853. I'm so pleased with how this turned out. And I expected it to be like a master of a couple trades, like slow single track and like manuals and handling on the trail. I did not expect it to master the pump track like this. I have no idea why other companies aren't doing this, but it's free. You just need a good brain that understands hardtails to design it. And there's no downside. It just blows my mind. Hopefully, we'll see more bikes doing this in the future. The whole reason this bike exists is because no other bike was doing these things. Every other company wants to keep a long seat tube. Every other company sticks with a safe 430 rear end. Most other companies are overbuilding their bikes with super heavy tubing. This is nice, thin, and compliant. I guess if I were gonna make this a pump track only bike, I'd do it out of aluminum to be stiffer. But with the yoke we've got here, it's plenty stiff where you need it, and then on the trail, it eats up that chatter. I'm just so pleased with how this bike came out. And if you've ridden one, please post in the comments so other people can know what it's like. If you go on Reddit and learn about this bike, people are loving it. But people are hesitant because they're like, the only content I've seen is Steve from MTB Party and he designed the bike. Of course he's gonna love it. And I do love it. It's my dream steel bike. So I'm so happy with how this turned out, and I'm beyond pleasantly surprised at how well this does in the pump track. It's everything I'd hoped for and more. Now I'm gonna head over to the trail and go do a trail ride. Thanks for watching, everybody. There's a party in the mountains and you're invited. Got to give a shout out to my cameraman and friend Dana. He took one for the team and took a berm right into the sun and completely lost all vision, and paying the price with with the bloody elbow and the knee. But thank you, Dana, you're the man.